Dude, studios though are like with this strike particularly, studios are gonna come to a point where we're gonna start saying, "Get back to work, or we're gonna find someone who will."
We're gonna find something that will.
Yeah.
Because here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen with AI. They're gonna do it the way that they did it with coding, right? So when they shifted around the mid 2000s, what they did is they took all of the coding jobs and they shifted it to India. And so what they would do is they would have India do all the grunt work on the code, and then they would send the code back, and then they would have a handful of people here that would go and correct the mistakes, make the edits, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So essentially what they're going to do is they're going to turn script writers into editors. And AI is going to generate AI is going to generate the base script based on what they want to happen.
It's not there yet. It's not there. Maybe in 10 years
and
they
then
can.
they're
It's
going to
not
have
there
a writer come in and do a rewrite on it. But it's going to be significantly less.
Disney's already doing that. Disney's already.
It's going to go.
Semper, Disney's been doing that for like 5 years now, and it has shown. People literally go, "This seems like it was written by AI."
Did you catch that on the Iger call, where he said we've been working on something for several years that's going to help with this, and it was like, that's AI. I did the meme. I was like, that's AI.
Yeah, that's they've been using it for years, and it shows on most of these movies, especially like the Marvel shit.
Well, they even made a joke about it with She-Hulk. They're like, AI wrote this entire thing, and it's like, yeah, and it shows.
Yeah, it does. And like, I think what's gonna happen, or what will have to happen, is that shit's gonna continue to hemorrhage money, and shit's gonna keep getting broken up, and you'll have more movies like Sisu, and like Tetris was another indie movie that got a big pop, but Apple.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I want to see.
Apple just ate that up. It's like you should have ate that up, put it out in theaters for a few months, and then put it on your streaming service.
I don't get. I know you've said because they have like so much money, but I don't understand their whole process. I don't understand how
it's just like a passion project for them.
Man.
It's just a passion project for them. They just had somebody there that wanted to do this, and Apple went, "Let's do it."
They're your older brother that sits on his toys so you can't play with. That's what Apple TV is. Because you can't even rent it on Prime. You can't rent or buy any Apple TV stuff on Prime. You can
and they won't go to
HBO
Android
stuff.
You
can rent and buy Disney Plus stuff, but you cannot rent or buy anything Apple TV on
Apple.
Amazon.
Though has a history of sitting on a product for a long time and like keeping it Apple exclusive, and then after several years of pressure, they release it to the mass market. So like right now, they don't have an Android app for Apple TV. You can only get it if you have an Apple device. Or by going through their website, right? But that's the way like the iTunes used to be. You can get iTunes on Android now, or it's called something else now. I think it's just Apple Music.
Do they still have Apple TV devices? Are they still selling those?
No. I thought that was a weird name to name their channel after they had that device just a few years ago. Like, all right, just reuse it. They already got it copywritten. Why not just use it on something else? But yeah, like in probably a couple of years,
TV has Apple TV on it.
Especially after they get like a decent little catalog going. Like they own their own servers and shit too. So like it doesn't cost them a fucking arm and a leg to host all this shit like it does for everyone else, because everyone else is buying space from goddamn Amazon. That's another reason why Amazon's on top of this shit, is because they own all the servers. They could make infinite content if they wanted to. You know, theoretically
yeah, but
speaking,
then it would all be Rings of Power and shit like that.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, if they wanted to like just fill all their servers to the max with their own like content, they could. Because they have the space, they control everything.
Yeah, I don't understand. They have such, like, not everything's a home run, and like some of their shows kind of fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they got some fucking home runs that they just sort of like, whatever. It's like sitting on like a pile of fucking gold, and yeah, some of it might be fool's gold, but for the most part, you got some. They got some good stuff. Genuine great content, and you're like, if people watch it, I don't really give a shit. I don't understand how like. They have so much money, they don't care about making more money.
The only one they really gave a shit. The only one they really gave a shit that people watched was Rings of Power, because they spent a fucking $1 billion on that shit before they ever went to.
That's not Apple.
I was talking about Amazon. Like the Amazon, Apple and Amazon are kind of the same way, because they make their money off of something that has nothing to do with this shit. And that's why
like you got that money to just throw down the toilet, like.
Well, you also have a thing of you have to pay taxes on money that you're not actively using in your business. You have to pay taxes on profit, right? So if you have a film division of your giant computer corporation. You could put your profits into that, and now you don't have to pay taxes on it. It's they just keep the fucking cycle going, so they get more and more.
Well, that's
tax
what I've
breaks.
said for a long time, is that these movies being absolute dog shit and TV being absolute dog shit, and they just keep pumping the same crap out and losing money, it's a tax break.
But that's why
they're showing
Disney
a loss
was
to the overall company.
That's why Disney was be able to like survive so well as they did for so long, is because their parks and their cruises and their merch were paying for everything. They didn't really give a shit if stuff was making money. But
Yeah,
now that nothing's making money.
Well, the cruise is. Iger said that they have 4 or 5 total ships that are at 98% capacity, and that they're in the next 3 or 4 years they're going to add another 4 ships to it.
Yeah,
Like
but
they're
of course
they are
building a fleet.
Yeah, but they put that fucking Star Wars bullshit in their parks, and that that lost money.
They no, that actually saved their ass. So when they were talking about
the
their losses,
Star Wars hotel did, and they lost like
$5,000 a night.
Did you hear how much they lost on that? It was like $5 billion.
What they did is they basically shut it down, and they did what do they call it? It's like a fast drop where you get to immediately take the entire balance of what you spent on it and take it off of your P&L.
Yeah.
So it was like $5 billion that they were able to erase out of their losses by shutting that thing down.
You know what they should do, though?
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if they bulldozed the damn thing to make sure it didn't affect their taxes.
As stupid as an idea as the Star Wars hotel was, now if they took one of those 4 cruise ships that they're about to build,
dude, I was thinking the same thing.
And made it Star Wars theme,
dude. Yeah,
people would eat that shit up because you're gonna be stuck on the boat anyways.
Nope, Star Wars is dead, man. You can't attach anything to that IP.
It wasn't dead. That bullshit service they gave you, that how much you had to pay and what you got did not fucking meet.
No, but the IP itself is dead. Are you gonna go see the next Star Wars movie, Ken?
There's not gonna be a next Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Well, 1, no. 2, Star Wars has its own like fucking nerds that will pay for this shit. If that
and they get less and less every day.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Even remember that motherfucker I was fighting with like a few months ago?
Yeah.
Like that dude even seems to be like fucking.
Yeah, but you need mainstream, and mainstream's done with Star Wars, man.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like even their stands seem to be getting fed up with this shit.
Because you're gonna get a fucking just punched in the face by Rey if you go on a boat that has Star Wars on it. It's gonna be Rey.
I mean, if they just made it like they don't like focus on any characters, maybe throw a Darth Vader on there, or even a Kylo Ren would be all right. Like you have both of them.
They fucked up Darth Vader with Obi-Wan. They fucked up every single one of the characters.
Okay, yes, you're right. They fucked up the character with that fucking awful series. But what they haven't fucked up is his iconography. Like he is still a very iconic character. And if you had a tall dude in a Darth Vader suit with stormtroopers marching down the hallways of your fucking cruise liner, people would eat that shit up.
You don't even need that. You just turn it into like a Star Trek cruise. You put you get like
now Star Trek would work, even though
Star Trek's
Disney
dead.
Plus has fucked that up.
No, it's dead. But you put a couple of characters. You pay, fuck, I'm blanking on their names. Who played Kenobi?
Ewan McGregor.
You put Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Is that his name? Did I get that right? Nice, nailing it. You put them two on a fucking cruise ship and some other like bullshit characters. People will pay money to hang out with those people. That's what Star Trek did. You know how many fucking people Deanna Troi bagged, or the rumors were when she's doing those fucking cruises? Like,
but like, what would be cool though is like you could do like a whole, you could have the story of the cruise, like the little port you're gonna stop at is different planets, right? You could theme it that way, frame it that way for people, and you could even have like little fun like ship-wide like shows where like when you're embarking, you have everybody on like the deck or whatever. And then you have like a Imperial cruiser or whatever, like dock the ship, and then Darth Vader comes on and does a scene or whatever, and then like they get the ship on way, and then you could have like security guards dressed up as stormtroopers. That'd be fucking funny,
dude. Or you can do it like or the same thing how Universal does the Harry Potter train. You get on a real train when everything is TV screens, and they film their own like private bullshit just for that ride or that cruise, like they do, and it's like it's your own experience or a special experience on that ride or on that ship. Like
they have so many options.
Real characters walking around. Yeah,
they got so many options to make money, and they just refuse to do them. Like it seems like they want to fail.
Do you think George Lucas likes Kathleen Kennedy because she finally made the sequels or prequels tolerable?
I think George
She never
Lucas
did.
would fucking punch Kathleen Kennedy in the face if he ever saw her.
I think he sits at home and goes, "Oh my god, my prequels have finally been vindicated because now
Maybe
nobody hates my prequels now."
Maybe he's
because
like all
those 3
clown
movies were
pilled
so
on this
bad."
shit where he's just like, ha ha ha, this stupid bitch. Ha! You thought it looked
Or-
easy. You thought it looked easy.
Or maybe that was his plan all along. He sold his Lucasfilms for $1 gazillion, and then he's gonna come back and buy it back from Disney for like pennies on the dollar, huh?
Well, if you remember that story, like he had it all laid out, like what he wanted to do with that Lucasfilms and all that other shit, and she said yes, paid him $4 billion for it, and then did the exact opposite of what she said she was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he hates that.
Sounds
He
like a
fucking
woman.
hates it. Yeah. So yeah, I dude, if he buys it back, I don't think it would save anything, but it'd be the funniest story in the world. I would
Yeah, that would be
love it.
hilarious. He just lets her
He,
tank it.
he
and then
sold it
buys
for $4 billion and buys it for like $750
And he
million.
doesn't even make any more movies. He just goes, "Oh, the Disney ones never happened."
He Apple Pluses it.
And then suddenly, Star Wars is making money again when he just goes, "All right, I bought it back, and the Disney ones never happened. Anything Disney made never happened."
He buys it for like $700 million, and he spends another $1 billion buying back all the DVDs and Blu-rays just so he can destroy them of all the shit that she did.
No, he just dies happy knowing that he literally did nothing and it saved his company. Like,